Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever Spider-Man can on PS4. And you know what? This is where I'm actually kind of sad that this is a PS4 exclusive, because I want to play a Spider-Man game for the first time in forever. First time I want to play one since, I don't know, Maximum Carnage on Super Nintendo, which was disappointing back then. So they came out with it was a 7-minute of gameplay demo where Spider-Man goes to like an offshore, like Rikers Island type thing. It's like this, like the Raft. It's actually the Raft, which from Marvel Comics. Yeah. They house the supervillains. Okay, so Spider-Man goes there. There's been a breakout of all the criminals, including a new version of the Sinister Six. It looks like there's like a new version with some characters that were in the Sinister Six and some that were not before. Like Mr. Negative, I don't think was ever in this Sinister Six, and I'm not even totally familiar with him. But Elektra was in the original, and a few others. Anyway, so it's hard to do Spider-Man right in a video game because his moves are so dynamic and unique that no game in the original 8 and 16-bit era could pull off web swinging properly. They couldn't pull off the attacks properly besides being just punch, 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 kick. Spider-Man's movements and combat are so unique that it's very hard to do correctly. And so when I see this trailer, the first thing I say is, wow, this is how Spider-Man moves. This is how he attacks. And it looks fun. It's sort of taking that sort of like Arkham Asylum style of fighting and I guess boiling it down to a Spider-Man game, to me, is interesting because I don't give a shit about Batman that much, but Spider-Man I love.
Sure.
So him like kicking a villain up in the air and then doing a spinning jump kick and kicking him when he's coming down. That's stuff that really only Spider-Man does when he attacks versus other heroes. And it's good to see Spider-Man do that in a game and be able to control that. Bouncing off the fucking columns and punching people.
Right.
Like, just really sweet stuff. Some of it was a little too much. Like, doing the 360 pirouette I'm watching, like, shooting out all the webs at once. To me, that's overpowered. But whatever. It looks fun. The costume I like. It's a mix of a new thing with the white web design on it, but with, like, the old 60s Romita look there. But the one thing that I notice a lot, at least in this gameplay demo, is that there's a ton of cutscenes every 30 seconds, looks like. But there's a lot of events that happen where, like, he's running after Rhino, or he's swinging after Electro and has to follow Electro along, and he's dodging, shots being fired at him. Is that it's hard for me to tell what you're playing and what you're not at that point. Like, what are you actually playing at certain points in this demo? Will this be a bunch of sort of cutscenes stitched together with, melee combat, and then back to some more cutscenes? If that's the only way you can do this sort of experience, then fine. But I'd be just disappointed if that's what it was, though.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine that, there's one coherent system of controls that would allow you to do all those things. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of contextual controls in there.
Or it's quick timey.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm trying to see.
It's not going to be cutscenes. It's going to be interactive for sure.
Yeah,
it's going to be contextual based on what's going on.
Now I'm seeing the second time around on chasing Electro. There are small little places where there's a button, like hit B or hit something as you go. So it's a quick time event, which I get. That's the only way you can do it. But I will say this, though. This is the most. Obviously, this is the most authentic Spider-Man action I've ever seen in a game. I think everyone's saying that, obviously.
Yeah.
It's cinematic, but it looks fun, and it really gives the feel. Because, like I said, a lot of these games, these past Spider-Man games, with the exception of a couple, I think Spider-Man 2 was one that got it right.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, the movie game on the PlayStation 2.
That was one I was like, oh, this got it right. It got the web swinging right. But just in terms of the action, it looks great. They had the Spider-Man eyelids closing. I guess that's the thing because after the movie, okay, it shows emotion a little bit. That's not really what Spider-Man's supposed to be. But now they've mechanized the suit.
Yeah.
Which I fucking hate how they overdid it in the new Spider-Man movie. But okay. So yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on it. He's getting beat down at the top of the prison by the new Sinister Six, and he's in trouble. I'm guessing you're off and running after. I'm guessing this is early on in the game before you're off and running.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks good.
I love the accent they gave Electro, by the way, because that's authentic to where Electro's from. With that as like the like lower whatever working man from New York sort of thing. I love it.
I'm looking forward to it. those sorts of games don't normally get me super excited, but watching some of those trailers, I definitely want to play it. I don't know that it's a game that I'm going to rush out and get day of launch, but I will certainly pick it up as soon as it comes into the store used.
So you have a semi-modernized Rhino, not as modernized as the Spider-Man 2 movie that came out, where they went over the top with it. That was weird. You have Scorpion. You have Mr. Negative. You have Vulture, and Electro. Did I miss anyone? So those are I guess your new Sinister Six. So they're some of the heavy hitters. They're not having, at least for this. And they don't need to have Dr. Octopus in every freaking movie. And people are saying, well, where's Venom? I don't want to fucking see Venom in every goddamn Spider-Man game.
Nope.
For God's sake,
Totally
please.
not necessary.
Spider-Man has the second best rogues gallery of villains besides Batman. He's got enough to deal with.
Yeah.
He's getting ass kicked by all of them in the trailer. He's fine. You know, you can have a Venom type of character be portrayed by someone else without Venom. And Electro's a dangerous guy on his own. People forget about that. So, anyway. But then he says, oh no, who's that coming off the helicopter or whatever at the end? I don't know if it's Kingpin. I don't know who that can be. But someone else.
I'm going to guess Kingpin.
Someone pulling the strings there. Kingpin is a very, very interesting character in the Spider-Man universe. He came from the Spider-Man fucking universe. People forget that all the time. And I would love to see a gritty Kingpin versus Spider-Man movie plot or anything done. That would be great. Because whenever they do that, that's where, at least in the past, Spider-Man, he's in over his head early on in his career because now he's taking on like a full fucking mafia type of gang. And it's like now he's in over his head. Besides Kingpin being super powerful, you know. So that was always interesting to me, that sort of low-level stuff, like which Daredevil took over.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man used to do more of that low-level crime stuff, like street-level stuff, as Frank would say. Yeah, the street-level stuff. I like it. That's why Spider-Man. Frank always loved Daredevil and Batman. So, all right, that's all I gotta say about Spider-Man. It looks fun. I will rent it and sneak into Ian's place and play it on the PS4.